Call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda.
So move, David.
Second.
Dave motion.
Okay, move seconded. Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Conflict of interest, if any. Staff report, tenders. Brett McCray. You're on.
Thanks, Mr. Chair, and my apologies for not being there in person today. It's my turn with this chest cold, I think. So, anyway, I'm doing you all a favor for not attending in person, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a fairly straightforward staff report. It's a generic one that we've all seen before, specifically on the purchase of two pieces of machinery for the landfill. In this case, both machines were approved during the 2026 budget process, and the standard grading formula that we always use has been applied here. The first machine is a bulldozer, and it's a replacement for an existing piece of machinery that will be traded in at the time of purchase. We use that bulldozer during construction activities at the landfill. The existing machine, the trade-in offers that we received as part of the tender submissions ranged between $92,000 and $127,500. We've used those trade-in offers to discount the prices that you'll see in the table included in the staff report. You'll notice that 3 valid submissions were received for this particular tender, and in this case, the highest rated bid was from SMS Equipment, and staff are recommending that the tender be awarded to that company. The net cost to the commission in this case will be $360,923.09. And the budgeted amount was $575,000. So significantly under budget, which was nice to see. The second piece of equipment was a smooth drum roller, and again, a replacement for an existing piece of machinery that we use on site. In this case, we use that machine to compact clay. So we're sort of in the phase of our site development where we're digging out large glacial till drumlins, which is a fancy word for huge mountains of clay, and relocating them so that we can build new disposal cells there in the future, but also so we can stockpile the clay in the interim. We do use that clay as a construction material when we're building cell liners. In this case, it would be the trade-in offers were for our 1996 Dynapack roller. They range between $10,000 and $20,000. Again, we've used them to reduce the prices that you'll see in the table within the staff report. And again, in this case, the highest rated bid was for Maritime Case, and we would recommend that the tender be awarded to that company. Total cost to the commission in this case is going to be $189,049.15, and budgeted amount was $315,000. So the combined, as a roundup, the combined budget amount for these 3 pieces was $890,000. Total cost of the recommended equipment, $549,972.24. And the overall net cost of the Capital Region Service Commission is $340,027.76 less than the budgeted amount. And then you'll see our recommendations for motions to be forwarded to the board included. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions the committee might have.
Well, Brett, on that line, you just sorry through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
On that, what you just read,
Mhm.
it says 3 pieces of equipment. Is that just a typo?
It is, yes. My apologies. Again, like I said, it's a generic
I
staff.
didn't know if I was missing something or what, but
No, I'm sorry, that was a typo. It was a carryover from, we typically roll these staff reports through once annually, and that would have been a carryover from last year's when we bought 3 pieces of equipment. Oh, good catch.
okay. Thanks.
I will. get
Okay.
word back.
Any other questions? Dr.
I've
Nicklin?
got one, Brett, is there, it seems to me like we're about 30% off on our, budget to our actuals. Is there any way that we could actually, in the future, look to tighten up those actual or budget numbers? Because we base our fees, what we charge, based off of, the budget numbers that we submit. And if we're 30% off on all of our numbers, I would almost suggest that we would be 30% off in our fees.
Yeah, so I know Mary Kay will speak to this because a lot of this is financed, right? So that's going to be reflected in the amount that we actually borrow. And you'll see that included in the, let me see here how quickly I can go through this. In motion number 3. So we've made an adjustment in the amount that we will be applying for. And the other thing I would note from an operational perspective, these are things that we review annually. So when we're developing our budget for the next year, staff goes out and actually gets quotes on all of these items. I think the biggest explanation for the deviation, we had some that were close to our estimated cost, but we always try to be conservative. We did get lower prices than expected, but we do review that annually. And Mary Kay, I don't know if you want to speak to the borrowing side.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. I just want to add the 890,000 that was budgeted would be the total cost. It's not the net amount that we're actually getting with the trade-in value. So that's why you're seeing some of the variance there, Director Nicklin. And we borrow for the actual cost of the equipment, not including the trade-in value. So we borrow for the full piece of the equipment of the cost.
But was the trade-in value not negligible, like $10,000 or something like that you were
It
saying?
was 127, I believe, Brett, on the first
On
piece
the
of
first piece,
equipment.
yeah.
So yeah, it can add up depending on the
Yeah.
piece of equipment that you're trading in.
So 20% then.
A little
Yeah.
bit, yeah, but less. And we do try to be conservative because I have been on the other end where we haven't applied to borrow as much and you always want to be high. It's not really affecting the tipping fee until you actually go out and borrow and have to pay it back.
Right, but the problem that we had, or the problem I see with it every year when we sit down and we have this discussion, I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about the tipping fee and Brett made it quite clear that we needed to be conservative in the fact that we shouldn't consider that every year we're going to have this windfall, but here we are. So if I get reelected, it'll be a much harder sell.
So,
What I would add, Director Nicklin, and to echo Mary Kay, we have been on the other side of things sometimes. Sometimes you get surprised, and that's a much more difficult issue to manage. So yeah, so we do try to get as close to the hole as we possibly can, but it's not always a hole in one.
Director Chrissy?
Yes, I think Mary Kay may have, through you, Mr. Chair, may have answered part of the question, but it's 550,000 and change, or a little less than change that the equipment is costing, including the non-refundable portion of the HST. Why are we borrowing another 110,000?
So that's the difference in the trade-in value. We borrow for the full cost of the equipment and then the trade-in value comes in as revenue, allowing us to keep the tipping fee lower
I
and finance it.
got a little of that when you was going through it, but okay, yeah.
And
So the trade-in value goes right into the
The revenue.
revenue side, so
We
okay.
set the cost of the equipment that we borrow for.
in terms of the budget process, this was in the capital budget, not our operating budget, which in the tipping fee gets set from our operating budget, not our capital budget.
Right, so we will pay for that over the next 5 years based on what we actually borrow.
So even though we were maybe over on our estimate on the capital side, it really doesn't have any impact on the operating side until that, as you said earlier, that money moves into operational functions.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, through Director Nicholas' question, 30%, we're still at 30% because the trade-ins are going in the revenue anyway, so there's about a 30% difference, correct? I didn't do the calculations, Kevin, I'm guessing you did, but even though the trade-ins are going into revenue, it's still the same number that he said initially.
Yeah, so the net cost is the same. The actual cost is 660,000, which we're borrowing. That doesn't include the net of the
Right.
trade-in, and we had budgeted 890, so that's the difference between the two costs.
Right. So Kevin, you're still partially right at 30%, so.
So, but what we're talking about there is 30% on the estimated capital costs.
Mhm.
The issue that impacts our budget on an ongoing basis is an operating cost. And until it makes its way into the operating cost, it would be better if we could have alignment of our bids and the actuals, but you're also in a very volatile time right now as well, but it's in the operating costs that we get our tipping fees. So
And this one will come in, if I may, Mr. Chair, in 2027's operating budget. That's when we'll start paying back.
Yeah. And Mr. Chair, if I could add one more thing to that, I just to illustrate some of the challenges, we did in fact tender the smooth drum roller last year. We opted not to award because we had a change in operational workflows for the construction season. But to illustrate it, the successful bid offered, I believe, $10,000 as a trade-in value this year on the old machine. Or 20,000, excuse me, 20,000 this year. They only offered 10,000 last year. So we're actually getting double what we would have gotten last year for the exact same machine. So there is some inter-year variability.
Any further questions?
When all is said and done, Brett, you've done well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love the deal.
Any other questions? So let's look at the motion that are recommended. Make sure that the wording, that the tender 01-26 roller 270126 be awarded to Maritime Police for one new 2026 Ammon ARS 130 HX as described in the tender for $181,281.25 plus tax. And that motion number 2 that will go to the board will be that tender 0-26 dozer 270126 be awarded to SME Equipment for one new 2026 Komatsu 261 PX-24 is described in the tender for $346,093 plus tax. And if those are approved, then the third motion would be that the chief executive officer or chief financial officer be authorized to issue and sell to the province of New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation a Capital Region Service Commission debenture in the principal amount of $660,000 on such terms and conditions as are recommended by the province Municipal Finance Corporation, and be it resolved that the Capital Region Service Commission agree to issue post-dated checks payable to the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation as and when they are requested. So any comments or questions on the three motions? Okay, so our recommendation basically will be that the motions go forward to the board as submitted. So. Don, do you have others to add under general discussion and directions to staff?
No, through you, Mr. Chair, to the members, if the members have anything in terms that they would like to raise. In terms of direction to staff at this point, outside of the motions that were that are agreed upon now by the committee, we would receive that.
Any questions, comments, concerns? Looks like we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move, David.
Seconded,
Dave Morrison.
moved and seconded. Oh,
I think we should mention, it's good to see Director Rogers today.
yes, Director Rogers. We don't know what this table will look like in April, but it seems that you will not be there, so of choice. So congratulations on making that leap out and for everything that you've you brought to the commission table, and it's been great working with you for at this level and at the board level for these 3 years that we've all put tirelessly in over the time. So congratulations, and
Thank you.
the-
Thank you.
some of the rest are gonna hang around, I guess, so.
Yeah. No, it was a really big decision, but yeah, I'm excited for whatever's next. I have no idea what that is. I just feel like there's a next chapter for me in my career. So, and now's the time to do it if I'm going to do it. So I'm excited though to see who's going to be representing Fredericton around this table. And all of you, those of you who have elections, and some of you will, some of you won't. I hope for all of our sake that there are a lot of candidates, because I think it's really important that municipal issues get talked about, and an election's a moment to shine a light on all the stuff that we do. So I hope that we get lots of candidates out in all of our communities.
Else? See, I got the mover and the seconder, and now I can call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
We're out of business. Thank you all.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You know.
Thank you.